And the only thing with the Mavs I'm concerned about is off that trade, they really don't have that much depth in the big men section. I saw a stat, like the three guys who've played, the three big men they have on the roster combined scored like 56 points or something like that.
I can't really name any guys off their bench.
DeJuan Blair, that's the only one I can think of.
DeJuan Blair, I liked a lot in San Antonio.
But that's the only one I can think of. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think he's playing right now, actually, Rondo. I'll be excited to see. So I'm excited. I think though, it might put him in title contention. I can't tell you.
Title contention? I think that's a reach, but that's definitely what they're going for.
Of course, and this was a great trade. They got a steal. What they gave up, steal.
Who did they give up? They gave up
Jay Crowder, Brandon Wright, someone else.
I believe Devin Harris, right?
Yeah.
And a first rounder and a second rounder.
Yeah.
So, I'm guessing you're saying this is a pretty bad deal for the Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Well, the Timberwolves did the Celtics a favor basically by giving them Garnett. I don't know what this has to do with anything, but maybe Danny Ainge owes a favor to somebody. Because this, I don't know what the Celtics were doing. Like they obviously had to trade Rondo, but you could have done a lot better than this. I think they only got one first rounder out of it.
Yeah.
You could have gotten two for a guy like Rondo. Rondo, not only does he lead the league in assists, but in terms of assist chances, that's what they say. If he passed the ball, and then if the basket went in, that would have been an assist. He averages over 20 per game in that category, which is phenomenal for a point guard. That's crazy for Rondo. So obviously he's going to help this team a lot. So the question is, sorry about that. The question is, can this Mavs team get to the playoffs? Now we'll see on that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back.
Kicking it. What are we kicking? A soccer ball. That's right, Infinity Sports Network now has its very own soccer show. Hosted by none other than Jake Leiker, Byron Tolson, and Noah Tabor. We bring you all the latest news on and off the pitch in the soccer world, whether it be the international or club level. Like us on Facebook at Kicking It. And don't forget to tune in once a week on Spreaker.com/Infinity Sports Network. Listen to us there.
All right, and we are back at Jersey Boys Sports Talk. Disconnected with Snowball there for a second, but he's back with us. So, Snowball, where do you see... We're going to finish on the Mavs real quick. Where do you see them finishing?
I think they do better than the Trailblazers. I probably think 4 or 3. I think San Antonio, Golden State, I think Memphis is still better. So I see them 4.
Memphis? Really?
Yep.
That's a little surprising to me. I actually had the Blazers going way higher preseason, but we'll see how that turns out. Now, other point guard in the NBA up for trade, Deron Williams. Now, you actually brought this story to my attention, Snowball. Apparently, the Kings are looking at trading for Deron Williams, going to give the Nets Darren Collison, Jason Thompson. I believe I'm forgetting someone else.
Derek Williams, too.
And Derek Williams. I feel like Derek Williams got drafted number 2 overall and just disappeared off the face of the earth. I had no idea he was still...
College, too.
He was a monster at Arizona. I have absolutely no idea what happened to him after he got drafted. So the Kings owner, I mean, they just fired Mike Malone, their coach. The Kings owner, he came out and said he wants the Kings to play 4-on-5 defense and then have a guy cherry picking. So obviously the owner is out of his mind. Do you think this trade can actually happen?
I actually think it's a pretty fair trade. Because D. Will's getting older, it's kind of like win now with them, and the whole Nets with Prokhorov wants to give away cash too. He doesn't want, he's trying to save money because he wants to sell the team now. So this will benefit both teams pretty well. Then the Kings get the point guard they want, who's got experience, and it could actually help the Kings. I don't know if they'll make playoffs, but it'll make them a better team, definitely. And then the Nets save some money, but they also get a point guard, Derek Williams, who's alright, and Jason Thompson, who's been actually on the Kings forever, it seems like. And for him to leave will be pretty crazy. Now, it'll hurt the Nets, I think. That's definitely going to hurt the Nets because D. Will's been there for, since the birth of Brooklyn, really. And he's been the face of the franchise. How many people are going to say Joe Johnson or
Brooke Lopez?
Yeah. It's he's the face of the franchise. So I'm going to say it works because Brooklyn wants to save money. So I haven't actually seen this trade going through yet. If the Kings willing to go for those guys.
I just really don't see how much the Kings benefit from this. Because they're not in a position to win. Like you said, Darren Williams is getting older. So why give up these pieces for an aging point guard who isn't going to be there when you actually have an opportunity to be good? Especially in the West, where it's much more competitive than the East. You're probably not even going to make the playoffs. Does this make sense for the Kings?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it.
Say one more time, sorry.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's worth it for the Kings because Darren Williams is aging. They're not going to be able to make the playoffs.
But it's going to give them a spark. It's going to get people to go there, and people are going to see Darren Williams, I think All-Star, believe it or not. People are going to go to see the game, get tickets, and it will help the Kings. It actually will help the Kings, I think, because D. Will's a smart player. Him and Boogie Cousins, who knows what could happen there. It'll be a decent combo.
I just think it sets them back in their rebuilding process.
Okay.
All right, so we're just going to wrap up the NFL for you today. The Eagles actually lost to Washington. It was 27-24 on a game-winning field goal by Kai Forbath. Now, Cody Parkey missed a 34-yarder and then a 46-yarder. He made one field goal earlier in the game, and it was a field goal game. So you can point to that. Bradley Fletcher got absolutely torched by Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson had I think he was close to 150 yards during that game. So a great game by Washington. Yes, I'm refusing to name their team. But in the Saturday night header, we have the Chargers taking on the 49ers. The 49ers are, I believe, eliminated from playoff contention. So they're just trying to spoil the Chargers' hopes at this point. It's 7-0 49ers with about 5 minutes left in the first quarter. Snowball, how do you see this one turning out?
I want to see the Chargers win. Now, the Niners scoring first kind of tells me that they're not giving up just yet. They're out, and Harbaugh's probably not going to come back. They're not giving up just yet, which I'm happy about. But I do see the Chargers winning this game. Phil Rivers, I know he struggled, but I think he'll be able to find a way to pass through this Niners defense. I think the running game can work a little bit because Frank Gore is out for the Niners. It's going to hurt them offensively. And Kaepernick is just really not been in sync the last few games, and I think it's going to hurt him later in the game. Eric Wells is going to he might pick up a pick maybe, or disrupt the offense a couple of times. But I do see the Chargers winning this at the end.
Yep. And important to note, with the Eagles losing, if the Cowboys win out, meaning they play, I believe they play the Colts this week, and they finish off the season, I don't even remember who they play week 17. But if the Cowboys win out, they will clinch the NFC East, and the Eagles will miss the playoffs, which is, no one could have seen that coming.
Mm-hmm. Which it's like insane to me, actually, because I thought the Eagles have been great all year. Even with Sanchez, Foles, they've been a really good team, and it's kind of amazing that they actually might not. Their fate of making the playoffs is now in their hands.
Yeah,
it's in the Cowboys' hands.
I mean, the Eagles are 9-5, so the Eagles are, well, now they're 9-6. They could be 10-6 and miss the playoffs, much like the Cardinals last year. The Cowboys, like I said, play the Colts at home tomorrow, and then they're in Washington to face the R's on the 28th for Week 17. So very likely the Cowboys can win this division, and we may very likely see a Tony Romo playoff victory if they end up playing the NFC South winner. Which, that would be great for Cowboys fans everywhere, great for Tony Romo fans everywhere. I've been calling for that for years. He really deserves it. So we'll see if they can end up winning that division crown. So, on to the Garden State Sharks, everyone's favorite segment. So, just to recap last week real quick, we had Jaguars plus 14 at the Ravens. Now, Snowball, you picked the Ravens just to go against me. The Ravens did win 20-12, but the Jaguars covered that 14-point spread, and myself and CB got that correct. And just to note, basically every game that Snowball picked against me was just to be against me. He really had no justification whatsoever.
I actually thought the Bengals were going to win.
Oh, yeah, he actually called Manziel being terrible. Myself and CB obviously getting that one wrong, picking the Browns. Snowball, I'll give you that one. He picked the Bengals, and they won outright despite the 1.5 spread towards the Browns. The Bengals won 30-0. Then we had the Chargers plus 5 versus the Broncos in San Diego. Snowball couldn't resist picking his Super Bowl pick of the Broncos, so we all went Broncos. The Broncos covered, and they won 22-10. Then we had Cowboys at the Eagles. The Cowboys were plus 3.5. I went Cowboys. Snowball and CB picked the Eagles. I don't blame them. The Eagles looked good all year. They beat the Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving, but that Cowboys road field advantage is just too strong, I guess. So the Cowboys won outright 38-27. That was a great game. Des Bryant, phenomenal. Then we had, finally, Monday night, Saints -3 at the Bears. Myself and CB went Saints. Snowball went the Bears. Saints covered and won 31-10. That wasn't even close. So to update you on the season standings, CB finally at 500. He's 40-40 on the year. Snowball coming in at second place, 41-39. And myself, I'm still on top, 50-30. Snowball, do you still have a shot, you think?
If I have to get my picks right this week, if I don't, then I'm not going to win.
He actually has to get, for Snowball to beat me, Snowball would have to get would have to pick every game against me and win every single one of those games besides one.
Hey, I'm throwing a Hail Mary. Team Nick is going to catch it for me.
So obviously, alright, and we'll see how this week turns out. So first off, we have the Ravens -6 at Texans. You're going Ravens here. Is this just to go against me, or you think the Ravens can win?
I'm actually going against you, so I kind of want to go Texans, so I can pick them. But going Ravens, the Ravens, they do tend to have blowouts every once in a while, so why not Week 16? It's a possibility. Joe Flacco's not terrible. I understand J.J. Watt is